Welcome to Turn Academy with Coach Dave. I like to draw the swing plane of our hard hitters, the guys that tense all up and type A personalities and try to crush the ball with a red line because they're on fire. This has got some really good potential. He's a natural single plane swinger. He's got a natural single plane setup. He gravitated to this. We're going to leave him in that setup. The posture looks really good. But what happens is he has a tendency to tighten up, even to the point where he thinks he should be wearing two gloves because he's gripping so tightly. Let's go ahead and watch the swing in slow motion. We're going to call him Mr. Flame here. It's okay, Scott. Right on plane on the way back. Look at that. Beautiful on plane. Beautiful on plane on the way down. The deal is that was the practice swing. Now let's see what's going to happen. Notice how smooth that practice swing was. It's over the ball. I call that getting ball locked. We tend to get overly focused. We're on the ball a long time. What are we thinking about? Probably everything can go wrong, rather than just relaxing and executing a smooth, relaxed swing. Anytime now. This is in slow motion, but not that slow of motion. We're now in the minute and 40 seconds of the swing, of the recording. Here we go. Now we start back. Not bad, a little bit below the line. A lot of lifting going up. Then he's going to muscle it right back down. Not bad. Left the club face a little open. But I'm going to tell you, if this guy can relax with his built-in power so that at the top of the backswing, he can get a little hinge. He's got no hinge here at all. And he can keep the shaft parallel. So the shaft should be parallel to the red line. This guy's going to be a great golfer. He's got the built-in power. He doesn't have to swing hard. Look at that position right there. The shaft is parallel to the trail arm. You can't believe how many golfers that I've worked with for hours and hours and hours and hours, hundreds and thousands of swings to get into that position. He's doing it automatically. Right there, the hands are still on the swing plane. We got the visual. We can look through the arms. Beautiful power. A little bit of a reverse pivot there. Notice the left knee is straightening up a little soon. The right knee is the one that needs to straighten. If anything's going to straighten, the left knee needs to stay flexed so you get the ball up in the air, and away he goes. Got a lot of potential here. His son is the young man you're seeing golfing. My guess is the young boy is going to be beating him in a while, but Dad should be able to hold off for a long time. You can see our young junior golfer here is choked down quite a bit. That's because he's not real tall and he's swinging a full-size adult club. What we want to do is we want to get him to get the club parallel to the toes, even with the toes on the backswing. So we'll draw a straight line up. So when he hits right there, we want to see the head of the club where those two green lines intersect. And what he's going to do is he's going to raise it up too soon. So let's just start it back nice and slow. We're being a little picky here. You can see the hands are going out away from his body. So his hands are moving a lot, his arms are moving a lot, but he hasn't turned. Still can't see his chest, still can't see his chest. So now instead of the hands being back where they belong, where the two green lines intersect, his hands are way out and away from his body, which has changed the whole plane of the swing. Now the reason he's doing that is because he's not turning his arms, hands, and shoulders in one piece. At setup, you create a triangle. Left shoulder, left hand, left arm, right arm, all creates a triangle. We move that triangle in one piece. That's not what's happening here. Now he's starting to move the triangle. His athleticism ends up in a really nice position at the top. He's let go of the club a little bit. We want to get rid of that. If I blow this up, I don't know if I can. Let's try it. Move it over. You should be able to see that he's lost some contact here with the club. The club is no longer down in the fingers of the club. The fingers have let go of it a little bit. We don't want that to happen. But take a look at the focus. He's staring directly down at the golf ball. I'm not sure that without a machine, you could get the left arm any more parallel to the swing plane that he set up at the beginning. Very nice position there, even though he had to go through some machinations to get it there. Let's see if he drops the club down. And again, we want the club to come down on this line here, under to the ball and back around. Let's see what happens. Oh, not bad. A little casting. See how he's losing the angle right there? We want that angle to increase, the angle of the shaft of the forearm, not decrease. Now he's lost it almost completely. Coming out over the top, way out over the top, pulling away from the shot. Pretty solid impact position right there, almost classic, right on through. So with just a few little changes, we get him to do a little better job of routing that club to the inside. But you notice that the club head, if I back up a little bit, club head cut across his body a little bit, but not bad. That finish is typical of a slice finish. We'd like to see the club shaft being a little bit more parallel that way, but not bad. Good job, man. Sharon's targeting the first barrel here. She's trying to get the ball up in the air. You can see that the right arm needs to be a little straighter here. She's kind of collapsed her triangle down a little bit, but she's on a good line. She's set up good. But here's what happens sometimes. Now Sharon's a little tired because she's been working now for probably 100 balls. So what happens is we get tired, we start moving more. Now typically when somebody gets tired, you think they'd move less, but we don't. We start adding muscle groups to help us move the club that we don't need to be adding. All we need to do is rotate. The golf swing is a rotational swing. It doesn't matter if your body leads the rotation and tells your hands what to do, or if your hands lead the rotation and tell your body what to do, as long as they're talking to one another, and the whole thing is based on rotating around a fixed point, which is the spine. So what happens here is because she's gotten tired, everything's going to move. Now watch this. You're going to see a lifting. There goes the lifting right there, up and out of the swing. And then she's going to have to either dive back down, maybe too far, yep, too far, come back up again, off to the right it goes, frustrating. A little 50-yard shot like that should be simple for her. She's a really good golfer. But we get frustrated as we get tired. And what we got to do is just say, okay, I'll swing smoother and easier and take another club. I don't have to hit it the farthest I can. I need to make good contact. I need to be relaxed. I got to get rid of that right there, the standing up. So I'm going to turn on a fixed axle. I'm going to rotate through, and I'm going to be comfortable. I'm all over Chippy on his lessons to slow him down, relax a little bit, don't swing so hard. Swinging hard, swinging fast, swinging quick. Those are all different. Swinging hard means your muscles have all tightened up, you're jerking the club. It's not a free-flowing, comfortable, relaxed-looking swing. It's almost like trying to crack a frozen whip. The only thing that's going to crack on a frozen whip is the whip. So he gets really tight here, which then causes him to come over the top and either slam the club in the ground or pull it or slice it. He's plenty powerful enough, but we need to get him to slow down and finish his takeaway. And by that I mean get him to the point where he's fully hinged his wrists, the right wrist back and the left wrist up into two 90-degree positions. So then he can just uncoil and generate some speed. We're going to watch this in slow motion. You're going to see he's going to jerk back, everything's tight, and then over the top. So the whole swing is one great big circle that goes like this. And we need it to be the reverse of that. In fact, I'm going to do the reverse in another color. We'll draw the swing plane in first. Now what we want to do, I'm going to back it up so we're not at the impact position. You can see how far the head moved. I got to redraw in the swing plane because the shaft moves so much. Now what we want the takeaway to look like would be a nice, easy, on or above the red line with the face of the club coming back. Up here to a nice full hinge. The club comes back down, under the table, right on through, back around to the finish. Now let's see if we can trace this swing. There goes the head back. Club's going back well inside the line. Now he's on the line there, but you can see he stood way up. Now he's coming over the top, almost a reverse. Now let's clear everything out of the way and look where that head of that club is in relationship to the golf ball. You ready? Wow, pretty hard to get a good impact position from there, isn't it? So how can that ball do anything but go low and to the left? You can see where he was trying to go. Obviously out to the right. Look at his feet. So we need to get him to slow down and relax. So the backswing is this smooth, fluid motion. Swing, set, through. Not swing through. Well, look at Mr. D here. He's got himself in a pretty good setup. He's got his hands forward of the ball, which I like. Maybe not quite that much further forward, but what I would like to see is a little tilt of the spine away from the golf ball. We'd like to have a straight line going up the lead side here. And you can see that the shoulder is out past the lead foot. We've got to get that little bit of a spine tilt so we have a straight line. If you look behind him, there's another golfer that's got that tilt set up. You can see there behind him is a golfer that happens to be in a good position. You can see the difference in the two positions. Let's get rid of both lines. So we're going to ask Dave to get his head a little bit further behind the ball so that he's got the ball past his lead cheek. What would happen if I drew a line straight up from the ball? Looks like it's going to hit him right in the head. We need that, and you see how far the tilt has to be in order for it to be in front of the cheek. So we need to get his head behind the golf ball, not directly over the golf ball. I know it sounds contradictory, but it is. We got to be behind the golf ball because we're hitting the back of the ball, not the top of the ball. Let's go ahead and fast play this forward at 8th speed. Nice low and slow takeaway. A lot of rotation of the shoulders, very nicely. Legs planted firmly. Let's look at the top of the swing. Notice he's got his shoulder well past the golf ball. Now, if I draw that magical line up, now he's behind the ball. Why not start there instead of having to find a way to get there on the backswing? I think it'd make it more comfortable. He's also created what's called the X factor, and that means the shoulders have turned a lot more than the hips, and the hips have turned more than the knees. So he's developing some really good lower body torque. He's got his hands well behind him. He's got a nice 90-degree set in his hands for that conservation of angular momentum we talk a lot about. Now let's go ahead and bring it forward. Up there, see now there's what happens. We dive forward. That's got to go away. That is a killer of the golf swing right there. That changes the whole center point of the swing, makes it very difficult to hit behind the ball, to get in from behind the ball, to look behind the ball. Again, we're looking now at the forward part of the ball. Let's clear the line out of the way. We're going to continue on down. Now he's well out in front of the ball. If I drew the line straight up and down now, his head is past the ball. It's still got to be behind the ball. It makes it very, very difficult to get a good forward momentum move when we're already out. He's got to pull up. Notice how close the club face is through here at impact. Watch this really closely. There. See how close that club face is? That's the issue right there. He's rotating that club face, slamming it in the ground because he's coming in so steep because his head is out in front. If you keep your head back, you have a shallower attack. Again, path and bottom, both of these are affected by moving the head around. Good weight transfer on the rotation, great finish. That's what he's been working on. So if we can just get him to keep his head back and he finishes like that, and again, we're going to draw the straight line down there. Everything's right on that line, good and parallel. So we just got that one little situation where we have the head too far forward at setup, and then we're diving forward from the top of the backswing. Okay, let's take a look at the setup, see if anything pops out. If I blow the screen up a little bit, one thing we will notice is you can see a little bit of the golf ball off the toe of the club. That's pretty tough to make sure we get good contact. Remember, we need to hit the center of the ball with the center of the club face. Let's see what happens here. We've got a good spine tilt. We've got a target. We'll draw the target line in red. We're going to use his toes as an alignment aid. Looks like he's heading out to the 125 barrel. Looks like his shoulders are on that same line also. In blue, we're going to draw in the swing plane. Okay, let's go ahead and play this swing in slow motion. Oh, that wasn't slow motion. Let's back it up a little bit. Let's try it again. Come on, David. Slow motion. Not a bad turn. A little bit flat. Getting a little steep, a little lifting going on right there. Now, right there, we'll stop. The hands could be a little bit further away, more over the shoulder, back in here. See the seam in your shoulder? That's where the hand should be. This way they're two up and down. We want that lead forearm to be parallel to the swing plane. And you can see that what we've got here is the lead forearm is right back down to the golf ball again. So we've got that two upright. That tends to produce a slice and a steeper swing, and it's tends to be a little power robber. I don't mind the hands being high, but let's see if we can get them up in here instead of where they are there. So let's get rid of a couple of those lines so we can see the swing coming down. Continue at slow motion. See how he's much higher than he was at setup. He's even got some flex in the shaft. He's facing the ball at impact, though. That's a really good deal. I would like to have seen a little bit more rotation of the hips, but that's okay. Got to have something to work on. Now we're going to continue on through. It's a little further right and slicing, which is what I predicted when I saw the height of the hands at the top of the backswing. The club needs to be coming from the inside. If it's coming too steep or from the outside of the swing plane, that's when we're liable to get the slice, the push, or the chunk. Welcome to the Turn Academy with Coach Dave.